Hello, everybody out there. I'm Chris, and today I will be talking with you guys about my top 5 most anticipated comics coming out of DC Comic Rebirth. These are the 5 comic books that have me the most excited, and to be honest, this was the hardest to do because a lot of the books from DC Comics Rebirth have me very, very excited. So it'll come to no surprise to most of you that almost every single book that I've in my top 5 involves or is Superman related. So they're not in any particular order. These are just the 5 books that I'm looking forward to most. Not to take away from the other books again, I'm looking forward to a lot of books coming out of DC Rebirth, but these are the 5 that I'm looking forward to the most, I guess you could say. Alright, first one is Superman number 1. The last son of Krypton must decide whether to help his young son use his new abilities, new and rapidly increasing abilities, or hide them from the world. So Clark is now in his father's shoes. Except this is the Superman from the old DC universe where he didn't develop his powers until he was a lot older. His son is developing them, and he's only, I believe, about 5 or 6 years old right now. So he's still young. And now Clark has to step into his father's shoes, basically, and deal with a son that has abilities that exceed mortal man. And now Superman is Superman. Now, when Pa Kent let Clark, when Superman or Clark became Superman, he was an adult. Now he's watching his son, and his son wants to go into the superhero spotlight. He wants to use his abilities to help people. And I see the dilemma where Clark's like, he understands he did it, but he did it when he was an adult. So I have a feeling what they're doing, what DC's doing, is they're kind of building John Kent up to be the new DC Universe's Superboy, which is cool. I mean, I feel bad that we didn't get Connor back. Maybe we will at some point get Connor back as Superboy. And when I say Connor, I mean pre-New 52, not the New 52 version. But for right now, I think it's really cool. And I'm kind of glad that they kept the family, the Superman family. And I'll get into this a bit more after I talk about my next book, because there was a comment and I would like to make mention of it a little bit. But I'm really looking forward to Superman, seeing Clark jump into the father role now. It's something that you never thought you'd see reading a Superman comic. I never would have ever thought, if you would have told me 10 years ago Superman's going to be a dad, I wouldn't have believed you. But, looking back at other comic books like Fantastic Four or now Spider-Woman, there are a lot of characters that didn't have children, and back in those days when you were reading them, you never would have believed, hey, they're not going to have kids. That wouldn't make sense. It would change the story too much. But then now, looking at it in present day, when I think of Fantastic Four, the first thing I think about is Mr. Fantastic and Miss Invisible's 2 children, Franklin and Valeria. I was going to call it Val, but I know that's wrong. It's Valeria. So it works. So I guess as time moves forward, DC's trying to give you a family. I guess you can technically call this the second family of DC Comics, because Batman and the Robins always felt like a family. So that was the first. No, there were other families, and yes, Flash had children as well. I take it back. But this is the first family that's moving into this new DC universe for right now, as far as we know. And I'm really interested in seeing how his character changes now that he's an adult. Really quickly moving into the next one, which is Action Comics 958, which, before I get even into the description, 958, they went back to the original numbering for Action Comics, which I feel is the most important because that was the one book they never renumbered. Superman had several volumes, Man of Steel had a volume, all the other super titles had several volumes. Action always stayed true to its numbering, and I'm glad that they added the 52 issues that they put out during the new 52. So technically, even though it was 1 through 52, it still was a part of the 900. So we still are moving towards 1000, which is exciting. The description, however, is Lois, Clark, and John. So again, the old DC Universe Superman is getting the forefront of both super books. Come to Metropolis, where Lex is calling himself the new Superman in a power suit. And tries to figure out who this new Lois and Clark are. So obviously, now somebody made a comment that the new DC Universe Superman is going to go away. I feel like if that is going to happen, it wasn't announced, so nobody's ever said anything about the new DC Universe Superman going away. But I feel like if anything, we will find that out in the DC Rebirth one shot. We'll find out what happens. Maybe him and Lois go away together. Maybe they leave. They're still on the new DC universe somewhere, but they're not. They're not in the public, the limelight anymore. Or maybe Superman will be in the spotlight, just not in Metropolis, and Lois probably will go with him. I don't know why, but they'll go off together because apparently Superman and Wonder Woman broke up anyway. So now it kind of opens up the new DCU Superman and Lois to get together possibly. I don't know, but from what we're seeing in the solicits for Superman, nothing involving the new DC Universe Superman's here. Basically, old DC Universe Superman's coming in and basically taking over the main Superman books. Will he be in Justice League? Will he be in anything else? The new DC Universe Superman, I don't know. But I'm not going with the rumors that he's dead or that he's going away until I see what they're going to do with the new DC Universe Superman. I have a feeling he will be somewhere in the new DC universe. He just won't be Superman anymore, and they'll reimagine his character along with Lois, which I'm completely cool with because I've got my Superman and Lois back. They're still married. They have John still. Everything basically works out, and I'm sure a lot of Superman fans feel the exact same way. So these are my two tops because I really would I'm so excited to finally, outside of Lois and Clark, which we've been getting once a month, I'm really excited to finally be getting back into my Superman in the comics, and I believe Action and Superman both are twice a month. Next book is not a Superman related book at all. It's Nightwing, Better Than Batman, finding Nightwing being mentored by a new character named Raptor. We're getting a new character introduced in this new DC universe. Nightwing's back. He's in this. I'm sure Jay jumped for joy when he saw that the coloring of the costume went back to a classic look, the blue classic look with a couple of little changes here and there. But it all looks amazing. I think the costume looks great. I'm glad that Dick's going back as Nightwing. And I'm really excited to get back into the Nightwing comics. I read the new 52 volume of Nightwing. It was okay. And it kind of fell off towards the end. I kept it all the way through till its completion. But again, it fell short towards the end. Especially when you took Nightwing and sent him to Chicago. So hopefully this time around we'll get better story for Nightwing. I would love to go back and get the original volume of Nightwing, and one day maybe I will. Not today, maybe tomorrow. But I'm really excited to see Nightwing back because I've only started reading Grayson since the middle of Batman and Robin Eternal, and I'm glad to know that that's going away and we're getting our Nightwing back. The next two books, there really wasn't much announced. First one is Trinity, by Francis Manapul, art by Francis Manapul and Clayman. I'm excited because they ended Superman, Wonder Woman, they ended Batman, Superman, which basically was World's Finest, and now we have a composite of basically both books in one. It's once a month. It's a story. When I hear Trinity, though, the only thing that really strums a bad note is that Trinity 52 issue series that we got way back, way before New 52. I'm talking about maybe a year before New 52 was even mentioned, and it was a horrible weekly series. So I'm hoping in this Trinity that it's just them teaming up to figure out a world problem, kind of like Justice League, except it's the Trinity dealing with a major problem and moving into another story after that. I really hope that Trinity takes off a lot better than it did in that weekly series that we got. And then finally is Justice League. Jeff Johns. I'm interested to know which Superman is in the Justice League. Like I said before, we don't know if the old DC Universe Superman or the new DC Universe. Maybe the new DC Universe Superman is going to be a Justice League, exclusive member. Like he will only be involved with the Justice League. He obviously can't be Clark Kent anymore, so maybe he's going to be Superman or super whatever, maybe super somebody else 24/7. I don't know. It'd be cool to see my the old DC Universe Superman. I keep calling him my Superman. I gotta stop that. The old DC Universe Superman in the Justice League, meshing with all of the new DC Universe characters, unless they get their histories back a bit too, so they'll all kind of mesh together again. I'm just really interested to see where this new team goes and where Jeff Johns is planning to take Justice League from here, because I've been enjoying his run. There were a few story arcs that kind of were and we still have Justice League of America coming in September-ish, around the same time as Justice League, I believe. So I'm excited for it. I'm just, these last two books, because we didn't get any description or anything. All we know is who's on the book. I'm just very curious what they're planning to do with these two books. But at the same time, Trinity, I've always, I wanted to see it done right since that weekly series debacle. So hopefully this will be the three characters done right. And with Justice League, who doesn't read Justice League and who hasn't enjoyed Jeff Johns' writing? So hopefully this Justice League will be a lot of fun to read, just like previous. And I'm enjoying the Darkseid Wars. It's a bit long, but obviously everything that happens here is going to play into Rebirth. The one shot will apparently explain everything, and then we'll get into these books. Hopefully these 5 books will be a part of my top 5 in Frontline live shows in the future. I'm really hoping we'll see in June if these 5 books, their first issues, will be in my top 5s at all. If done right, I think all 5 of these books have potential. If done right, I see 95% of the books that DC Comics is promising us in Rebirth being very successful. Again, it all depends on what the writers and artists give us, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping for the best. These are the top 5 ones that I'm looking forward to and better deliver on. Not better, but hopefully deliver on. I don't want to sound too much like a certain person. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this top 5. Stay tuned. We got a lot more things coming your guys' way. There's a lot of stuff going on Comic Frontline right now. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, go check out all of the stuff going on around the Frontline universe, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Links in the description below. Check out comicfrontline.com for all your comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. And until next time, everybody, feel free to comment below about your thoughts on my top 5. What are your top 5s? I'd love to hear from you guys. Till then, take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys real soon in the next video.